I'm Josh Newkirk here with 24/7 national recruiting expert Greg Powers. Greg, let's just dive right in. You were at the West practice today. You saw all three Michigan commits. Let's talk about the guy that made the top 10, Cameron McGrone, the inside linebacker out of Indianapolis Lawrence Central. You know, he really just does a lot of things out there with his speed, and he brings a lot to the table.
Definitely, and a guy, and what you have to do out here to stick out in practice is you have to be able to cover. And he's got some big-time targets to cover. As a matter of fact, I think one of the plays of the day was whenever he was able to jump in and get a hand in to break up a pass to Luke Ford, who's one of the top-rated tight ends in the entire country. He passes the eyeball test, and if you watch his tape, you can see that he has the skills to play downhill against the run. So seeing him get to come out here and cover a little bit is definitely speaking to his skill set as he transitions to college. So I think the Michigan coaches are going to be real happy once he steps foot on campus.
Now let's transition down to the trenches. An offensive lineman, Jalen Mayfield, he had some ups and downs today, but you definitely see a good body. He's 6'5", 285. He looks like he's a guy that can add some weight, but he struggled with some of the bigger guys today.
Well, one thing that is hard to find for college football is true tackles. And when you look at Mayfield, you see the link there. And you spoke of his upside, and I think that's probably the best thing that he has going for him right now. True tackles are hard to find, and I think that he's definitely not a guy who moves inside to guard. He's a tackle or bust type of guy, and I think that's where you'll see him play at Michigan.
And then the guy he was matched up against, another commit, a guy that everyone seemed to marvel at his size. He was just a guy that just looked big in pads. Aiden Hutchinson, the guy at Dearborn Divine Child, Michigan legacy commit. What was he able to do today that really impressed you? Obviously, he's just a guy he just looks the part.
Well, here at practices, they do a little bit of pass pro, and he was pretty good at getting a rush on the passer, but also they do run fits. And what I really like him is he uses his hands well. He's able to make plays against the run, and he's going to have to do a lot of that at Michigan in the Big Ten especially. I mean, there are pass-happy offenses in the Big Ten now, but by and large, he's going to be having to line up against big offensive linemen, and he's going to have to be strong at the point of attack to get off of his blocks and make plays against the run, and he can definitely do that. And you kind of spoke about his matchup with Jalen Mayfield. He won that matchup, so I think that he's holding his head high probably in the hotel as they're talking a little bit of trash maybe against each other tonight. But I think Hutchinson has a really high upside. Of the three guys that we're talking about going to Michigan, I think 3 or 4 years from now, if we're talking about maybe the NFL draft, he might be that guy of these three that are here that that we're going to be talking about. Maybe this is a guy that's getting a look by some of these top NFL teams that play in the league. He's that type of guy. So blue collar type of guy too. You got to love those guys when you watch them out here. Those blue collar types who just like to buckle it up and get wild in the trenches. And he's that type of kid.
All right, thanks, Greg. And that's going to wrap up our coverage here from day one at the U.S. Army All-American Bowl.